Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's me again. Saw videos and commentary coming out talking about the people who expose the legal name fraud. Don't talk to them, tell them to fuck off, say to their face that it's bullshit, and yeah. Okay, so that's great. Not the first time that's happened. Definitely not going to be the last. I'm not worried about it at this point. I've dealt with a lot of people. Okay, so I'm going to cover some of the points that were made in the video, and it's important to pay attention. I say again, do not believe anything I say, because that's the problem, is people say shit and then a bunch of people believe it, and then now people don't know anything anymore because they believe so much shit. Okay, so don't believe anything I'm saying. Fact check what I'm saying. Okay, cool. Claim 1 and 2 are kind of one and the same, so I'll cover it with one explanation. Okay. You don't copyright a name, you trademark a name is 1, and 2 is the birth certificate is copyright prior to your name, and it only covers the information on it prior to that point. Okay, the maxim of law. He who creates owns. People are acting in these capacities using these names that they did not create. The parent or guardian made the name, it's not yours. Via creation, you didn't make it. You did not. The parents, what they intended was to. It wasn't their intellectual property, by the way. They took these sigils we call letters, and they put them in a certain order, creating a word, and then they put these words in order. And these words, when spoken, were meant to be a beckoning for us. And then they put it on paper and registered it, adding it to the registry sheet thrown in the registry book. Got it? It's not just the birth; it's the whole page. Birth certificate, birth certificate, birth certificate, single page. All right, got it? All right. 2, for you to commit a fraud, it requires an intent. And I'm quoting here. Quote, an honest belief is in fact a very powerful defense against charges of fraud, end quote. If you guys have been looking into law for even a little while, you've heard this before. It's another maxim of law. Ignorance of the law is no defense. So if you have a really strong belief that you're not causing harm, but you're causing harm, then they don't care. If you're causing harm, you're causing harm. I don't care what you believe about it. You are personally responsible for your actions. Got it? Cool. All right, so I'm going to cover this one separately, but we'll go on from there. Okay, the people talking about the crown aren't agents of the crown. I don't need to, that's a logical fallacy called an appeal to authority. I don't need to be employed by the organization to read the stuff that they put out and repeat it publicly. I don't, that's like saying that people who realize that mercury in vaccines need to be doctors to be valid to say that mercury is bad for you. Okay? Come on. Okay, these two claims are in the same. It's never the crown making this claim. I'll get to that. And an open claim was never made. It was the crown that made the claim. In 1998, there's a document called Crown Copyright in the Information Age. It was released in 1998. Dr. David Clark, which at the time was the Chancellor of the Duchy of Lancaster, which is, he's, hold on, I actually have how he gets that gig. Okay, well, here real quick. Okay, the Chancellor of the Duchy of Lancaster is appointed by the sovereign on the advice of the Prime Minister, and the Chancellor is answerable to Parliament for the governance of the duchy. He works for the crown. He deals with legal and finance and stuff like that. Okay, so he's with the crown, and he released this document, and in the document it says, let me find the page real quick. Look it up for yourself. It's Crown Copyright in the Information Age. Make sure that you click on the opsi.gov.uk PDF. It's 54 pages. opsi.gov.uk, for people who don't know, is the United Kingdom legislation page, okay? So this is on their legislation page under the advice column. All right, so what we're looking for is page 29, and if your pages are not numbered, it's Annex A. And it states at the top that this is categories of crown copyright material. And there's an explanation sentence to get you in the mentality of what they're talking about. The following list, which is not exhaustive, indicates the wide range of material which currently falls within the scope of crown copyright. Great. And this is one of the things, there's a bunch of stuff that they claim to copyright. But this is the thing that we're talking about here. Okay, so I quote, they say this is copyrighted. Quote, documents which contain information relating to a particular person or persons and which, if copied, could be open to fraudulent use, end quote. And they have an example explanation column next to this. And in the example explanation column of what I've just read, I'll quote that too. Quote, birth, death, and marriage certificates, driving licenses and passports, land certificates and office copies of registers or title sheets. End quote. Okay, so like I said earlier, it's registered, it's added, the birth certificate's registered, it's added to the register sheet. Yeah, it's copyrighted here as well, but once it's registered, it's added to a register sheet. Okay, so it's a whole page. They got the book, it's all right there. Okay, so it was publicly, openly stated. Anyone can look this up if they have internet access. This document covers in the beginning talking about going green. So they're putting it on computers now instead of wasting paper. So yeah, it's right there. Look it up. Don't believe me. Look it up. That's the whole problem, is people believing. Nobody has ever been charged, tried, or convicted for using a name. Using the name, going in there and identifying as the name is what gets them jurisdiction in the first place. That's why people go to jail for things that actually have no corpus delicti, things that cause no harm, or they think it doesn't have corpus delicti, and they think it's not causing harm. This is how the game is rigged. It's a catch-22. To think that you are the name on the docket and show up to the courthouse and identify as that name without a bar card or any affiliation, any express permission from the Crown, you've already committed a crime because it's a commercial setting. You're using somebody else's copyrighted material without their knowledge or permission in a commercial setting. That's the jurisdiction right there. They can do whatever they want to you after that. But on the other side of that, I've seen people, I know people who have been dragged into court forcibly, and they didn't use a name and nothing happened to them. They're completely fine. They're out there free. They're happy. So I guess that's for me. I guess instead of speaking from opinion, it would be better if people actually went through the experience and talked after the experience, rather than giving an opinion with absolutely no experience. And the copyrights are applicable to the works. I think that was just the last little one. Yeah, it's applicable to the works. So if you're identifying as a white male, John Doe, this is your date of birth, whatever, if you're identifying as all of these things on that document, and the assumption presumption of law is to say, I'm not John Doe, I'm just John. Okay, and what's your birthday? And are you, and do you have your ID on you? And as soon as they see that stuff, all they want to do is they want to trick you into creating joinder so that you accept the surety for the person. That's all they want from you. They want you to accept surety. They want you to be liable for this dead thing that is fictitious. They want you to act in this capacity because then they can do whatever they want with you. Okay? That's how they did it. They didn't end slavery. They made it for everybody. So, as far as all this stuff goes, by all means, people, look all over the place. Look for answers everywhere. Ask yourself the questions. That's more important than listening to other people answer them. But from the beginning, the parents made the name, and then they were duped into signing it away. And it's not yours. For more information, go to losethename.com or catoguy.wordpress.com. Or if you don't feel like going to any specific thing, go ahead and type in legal name fraud in the Google search bar. There's a lot of information. There's a lot of people talking about this. And if people want to go back into the archives of Lose the Name and the success stories, we've had people in Australia with voice recordings of one of the top attorneys in Australia telling the individual who decided not to use the name that they don't care about the whole name thing. They just want to attach it to the body. They want you to create joinder between the body and the fictitious two-dimensional piece of paper called the birth certificate. They want that to be one and the same, so they trick people. They have the parents raise them thinking this stuff. They reinforce it all over the place. They distract you with all this other nonsense. And none of it's real, by the way. This is bullshit that people made up, and then a lot of people believe it. But I don't care if 7 billion people believe something. It takes one to know that it's not true. So make up your own mind, guys. But don't just accept anything that anyone says because they sound convincing while talking about it. Look it up yourself. Crown Copyright and the Information Age. I'll be posting links below the video. Look it up yourself. Learn something for yourself. And I hope that covers all of this stuff. Take it easy, guys.